ငယ်ချင်းတို့မင်းတိလာဒီမာသာဂတိကဝရှင်လင်းနဲ့တကယ်ပလက်ဖောင်းတစ်ခုကိုရှာတွေ့လိမ့်မယ်ကစားခင်ငွေထုတ်ယူပါလှည့်ကွက်တွေထောင်ချောက်တွေမရှိဘူးကစားခင်မှာတော့မင်းရဲ့ cash ထဲကိုတိုက်ရိုက်ငွေထုတ်လို့ရတယ်ဒီနေ့ခေတ်မှာအတူအယောင် online game တွေအများကြီးရှိတာကြောင့်ဒါကကစားသမားတွေတကယ်ရှာဖွေနေတဲ့အရာပါအာမခံချက်ရှိပြီးအကန့်အသတ်မရှိငွေထုတ်ယူနိုင်ပါတယ်အောက်ကလင့်ကိုအသုံးပြုပြီးဝင်ရောက်မယ်ဆိုရင်ကြိုဆိုတဲ့ bonus ကိုချက်ချင်းရရှိမှာပါကြော်ညာတွေမပါအတင်းအကျပ်ငွေပြန်တာမျိုးမရှိပါဘူးရိုးရှင်းတဲ့ကစားနည်းနဲ့တိုက်ရိုက်အနိုင်ရမှာပါ Cash Golden Time အကြံပြုချက်တွေကိုလိုက်နာပြီးအနိုင်ရဖို့အခွင့်အလမ်းတွေတိုးလာပါလိမ့်မယ်စဉ်းစားကြည့်ပါတစ်နေ့ကိုပီဆို1000တောင်ရနိုင်ပြီးလွယ်ကူပါတယ်ကင်မဖြစ်ပါနဲ့ပိုကောင်းတဲ့တည်ငြိမ်တဲ့ဝင်ငွေဂိမ်းကဘေးကင်းပါတယ်ဘာကိုစောင့်နေတာလဲအခုပဲ download လုပ်ပြီးမှတ်ပုံတင်ပြီးအခုပဲမင်းရဲ့ bonus ကိုရယူလိုက်ပါ
Trust Kyat Amyon Kyang Wei Lawal. Install and go. Trust Kyat Amyon Kyang Wei Lawal. Install and go. Trust Kyot Amyon Pying Wei Lawal. Install and go.
To you. I hope your holiday season went great and loving the new year and a fresh start. And I can't think of a better guest to have on for a new year than my new friend, Johnny Fiacconi. Now, Johnny, I'm so glad to have you on here. Welcome, 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 my dear friend.
Lloyd.
I ran into you on TikTok. You came up on my For You page, and I instantly became a fan because as an independent artist, it is priceless, the information you have been just giving out people to talk about. So welcome. Glad to have you in here. And I'm sorry to vomit all over you on the intro.
No, not at all. Lloyd, thanks. I appreciate it. It's actually really interesting that you saw my videos on TikTok because that is not one of my stronger of the social media apps. You know, I'm bigger on Instagram, I would say. So it's really cool that you got to connect on TikTok. Yeah, I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, guys, I hit him up. I saw him on For You, and I instantly started loving his content, and I had to send him a message. And Johnny, you were so kind to respond back to me because a lot of times I don't get responses back on TikTok. Maybe it's just because people don't see the messages or whatnot, or it's just not professional, and maybe I should be emailing like I should. So.
No, it was great. I'm glad this is happening. This is so awesome. I love what you've been doing on your channel.
Well, when I started this thing I'm an independent artist myself, and I really wanted to put something out there that independent artists can watch and they can learn from my mistakes or whoever I have on. And of course, independent artists, it gives them another platform and another voice because we can't have enough platforms to get out there and be heard and seen. So
agreed.
And I love what you offer. You are doing it right. You're not on TikTok saying, hey, look at this, or hey, check out this, or hey, blah, blah, blah. Hey, out now. You are giving. And that's what I love about you and so many other guys that I follow. It's not, you're not asking for anything. You're out there just giving advice and educating. And to me, that's priceless.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I think we're in the era right now. Obviously, I play in a band, as you know, but I think we're in the era right now where like personal brand is a big thing. And so I'm trying to lean into that a little more, and the only way to do that is to post and try and get exposure. And the only way to get exposure is to be posting consistently. But I feel like it will all funnel still to my band. And that's kind of the end goal, is like just sharing the stuff that I'm dealing with daily. You know what I mean? And then it's like, I see so many people that follow me on this channel because of my advice or things I've learned. And then I see that they're following my band. It's exposing, it's all like tied into this kind of family, this tree of me as a person, and then my band and my interests. And I think that's the world we're in, is that you got to double down on the personal brand, which you are doing, and you're an artist too. So you're doing podcasts, you're doing music, you're kind of covering it all. And that's the world we live in, So I feel like I just genuinely want to give back. If someone wants to follow my band or contribute to the conversation, like, that's great,
Yeah. I love the consistency that you do.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want to get into is that, because all too often I know artists, we all get tired, and sometimes you just don't feel like posting that day. But I've picked up on the things that you do. You're so consistent with your content. You're always in that car, holding that cup of coffee, and there's Johnny, and I'm gonna watch and I'm gonna listen, and I love that about you. And anything you can offer anyone who's watching this, would that be the biggest thing, is just consistency and just keep showing up?
100%. But look, Lloyd, I would be a hypocrite if I was saying, like, on my personal channel, the one that it's been easy for me to post, because my whole goal for that was like, I'm going to post one video a day. So when you come up with that goal and you have the discipline to do it, you realize very quickly that you have to do it in a way that you can churn those videos out quick. Because if you're setting up the camera and the ring light and doing scripts and stuff, it takes too long. So I'm like, well, what's something I'm already doing every day? I go for my coffee. So I'm like, I'm just going to do it in my morning routine. I'm going to add it in there, and I'm going to edit it, post it all in that sitting. And I've been able to do it since January 1st. And it's like, look how much it's grown. Now, at the same time though, Lloyd, is like, with my band, I've always struggled with consistent content, because I haven't cracked the code on what is a way we can post consistently that kind of, builds into our brand. I haven't found that yet. We've done podcasts as a band. We've done a lot of live show footage. We've done pictures, but it's like, what's that consistent thing? I haven't found it. So like I said, I would be a hypocrite if I had the answer to everything. But at the end of the day, you just have to, whatever you do needs to be consistent, and it needs to be sustainable. You need to be able to, like, your podcast, you sit down and hit go, and you're recording, it needs to be easy, or else you're going to get turned off to it after like the 5th video. You're going to be like, this is too much. It's because you put too much pressure on it. It has to be too perfect. You just got to get it out. That's what I've learned.
Well, tell us a little bit about your story, where you come from. And I mean, I already kind of know, because I cheated and I looked you up and I kind of did. But kind of give us I want to hear your story, because I love your story.
Cool. Well,
we're just gonna take it from the top.
Yeah, I mean, I won't bore everyone with all the details, but I started my band, the Dreamboats, with our singer Chris. It's our baby. We started it coming up to 16 years ago, believe it or not, back in Toronto, Canada, Mississauga, Canada. And we just started by doing 50s and 60s covers. And the thing is, from the very first day, it was never just like, let's get on stage and just play these songs. It was always from day one. It's like, we got to get matching vests. We got to get like the spinning starlight lamp. We got to like get on bills with original acts, and we got to like be the black sheep. We got to get people slow dancing. We got to be cheesy and like over the top. And that was always our thing. And that was in our early 20s. And, then people start booking you for weddings, for different events, and like niche events, a Grease themed event, a sock hop. And it's like, we didn't really necessarily plan for that. We just liked the music. And then as you get these opportunities, you start taking it a little more seriously. You're like, oh, wow, we got paid some good money. There's no competition doing what we're doing. And then you start to really see the value of the niche, and or niche, however you say it in your part of the country. But, you start to really realize that. And that's what I talk about with the channel. So we had this niche that was really growing in Canada. And then we did one show in Palm Springs, California, which is where we now live.
Mhm.
And, you know, it went really well and we saw the potential. We are like, whoa, we can make so much more being in California. There's
Yeah.
so many more people of influence down here. It's the entertainment capital of the world. So for what we're doing, I know songwriting is different. It's like Nashville, there's different areas, but for what we're doing, a high energy show, it's like, this is the place to be. And so we moved down here on a bit of a whim. We only had 4 shows booked back in
Wow.
2022, packed up our lives and came down here. The 4th and final show was at a casino. The very next day, we were like, what are we going to do? We got a call from the casino saying, would we like to do a residency? Meaning we would play once a month. That
Yeah.
residency ended up lasting 2 years, had the lifeline, and we've been here coming up 4 years now.
That's
So
awesome.
it's been a lot. You know, we've grown and then we've doubled down and then we've grown and then we moved and we were doing theaters in Canada, like performing arts centers. We
Mhm.
came down here and we were busking the first 2 weeks, you know, so it was crazy. It was crazy. So that's kind of
your
the
shows in
journey.
Canada, this is what's interesting to me with what you're doing. Your shows in Canada before you moved down here, I guess, I mean, you had a large following up there. Were you like booking your own venues, selling your own tickets? How are you doing that?
We had an agent that we ended up working with. We did most of the bookings and everything on our own, but we ended up getting an agent who understood the performing arts center and theater realm and got us into like some of the bigger theaters, which
Sure.
is great. And now down here, we now have a new agent who's been getting us into performing arts centers and theaters all over the United States and Canada. And it's crazy because we've realized that the way to get into those theaters is like going to conferences, like
Yeah.
Booker's conferences, like APAP in New York and Western Arts Alliance. And there's different ones and it costs money to showcase, but you are often showcasing in front of venue buyers at these
Yeah.
performing arts centers that are literally there with their notepad, booking their entire season for next year.
Mhm.
And they are looking for talent. They're not searching online for talent. It's like they're going there to find their roster for the next year. So
Oh,
that
that's
was
really
really
interesting.
eye opening. That was eye opening to me. And theaters, performing arts centers pay really well. So we all live together in this house here. We're able to sustain everything, double down on the band, grow the team. So that's been our journey, you know. But for like the first 3-4 years, it was like bars, playing 3 sets, playing all night, you know, and we love that. And we really gained our audience just grinding it at the bars, you know, and just bringing the most high energy show we could possibly be. We wanted to be the best band at that bar. You know what I mean? On their roster. That was always our goal. You know,
That's so interesting that you brought this to us to talk about today with the performing arts centers, or a lot of people call them PACs.
yeah,
Because I know artists that they'll go into towns and they'll rent the theater. They have to go promote the show, and hopefully they sell tickets. To where
Yeah.
this is like a different community, a different area. They're doing their own shows. They're just paying you, and they're actually taking the gamble on the ticket sales. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's so important when you're going to these conferences. You need to have a show that people can easily understand,
Yeah.
a show that bookers at these performing arts centers can see their audience enjoying. And, you know, we're playing a lot of smaller towns. So it's usually an older demographic. A lot of the younger people like moved out of town, you know, so you're going to these towns. It's like what we're doing 50s and 60s. That really resonates. But that doesn't mean every town is into 50s and 60s. There's other towns where there's different demographics. Sometimes a theater might be booking a season where they're promoting like Latino artists, you know, for that season. That's their theme. So they're going to be booking more of that. Maybe there's another, you know, season where they're doing more like, they're promoting like, dance. So they're going to have more dance artists. So it really depends, but there is room for people. And they are taking the gamble. And the thing is, for city-run performing arts centers, it's like they have to fill their schedule with artists. They have to. So the question is, are you going to be one of those people?
You're gonna be the pick.
But I'm actually curious, Lloyd. So you know people who've booked venues on their own. Have they enjoyed success doing that? Has it been hard? Has it been worth the reward?
It's hit or miss. I mean,
Yeah.
you better have some sort of following or just have a way to promote it. I have some good friends of mine. They'll go rent these, these small community theaters, and I applaud them for doing that. I haven't
Yeah.
done that. I've either played a private gig or I would go play, a nightclub or whatnot and do those. I do a ton of weddings, and I've really wanted to take that step and do that. I, and I've talked to a couple of friends of mine that I think we talked about doing like a combined bill. So
Sure.
I would at least take my people and they would have their people, and we could share the expense too. So it's
Yeah.
not as big a gamble. I really hadn't taken that step yet. I really want to. I want to do that in the next couple of years, or maybe even this year. And that's another thing I wanted to get with you on, because I really admire you for what advice to you that you have on your TikTok for entertainers and bands. With this being a new year, what would you offer advice to an artist or a band saying it's a fresh year? What do you think? Should they take a inventory of what they're doing in their mission, I guess, if you will?
Exactly. I would say, like with our band, we try to do a meeting every year at some point, either in the new year or in December. I think first of all, it's really important to like audit what your year had been like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like what were the kind of, did you expand into any new markets? Where did your money really come from? You know, was it in fact shows? Maybe you really brought in a lot of money with merch that year. Like really just assessing how that year went. And if you play with a band, it's like just getting everyone together and being like, let's recap the year. What were some of the highlights of this year? What were the things that like blossomed into like new opportunities? So really like looking back on the year is important. I think it's quick to jump to, okay, what are we doing next year? But looking back and being like, okay, like taking a step back and being like, hey, you know, this is a really good year. Or, you know, we really struggled with this year. At least like airing that and putting it into existence is when you can really start to, you know, adjust and, you know, go on